So I went to a music conservatory where we had an amazing electronic music program. How lucky was I? And I learned how to record my voice. And I never thought I could sing, but the first time I hit record, and I was already playing with reverbs and delays with my pianos and my beats and everything, I thought, well, what if I treated my voice the same way, where I used it as an instrument? I wasn't like a lead vocal. And I treated it, and I heard this beautiful instrument come out, and I couldn't believe that was me. And I thought, okay, well, this is a really cool instrument to use. What if I created a choir? So like there's one Mimi singing, but what if I had like 10 Mimi singing? And I had it all treated, and then this whole choir kind of just happened, and I thought, oh my gosh, I found my sound. Like it's this peace and this beauty that I feel when I write music, but I couldn't believe my voice was now a tool for that. So with Ophelia, I've separated all the stems. So here's my vocal stem. So very, like a lot of layers, a lot of delay. And lyrically, when I was writing this, I was just thinking, I had my bass of my string, so I didn't hear any type of structure, because to me, sometimes life has no structure. It just goes on, and some of my other songs, I do have like a typical verse, pre-chorus, chorus. But with this I wanted to just capture the emotion. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna write what I feel best represents this feeling, and I'm not even gonna think about structure. So my lyric is, I know I'm falling up, the sky is calling me home. And I kept singing that over and over again. And so together, I recorded. So it's more floaty, and already I felt, it was really the perspective of the song being the soul leaving the body and saying, instead, like, death is the end, I know I'm falling up, the sky is calling me home. So like there's something bigger than myself that I'm going to. So I treated my voice, here's just a normal, without it. I know I'm falling up. Just like that. So I record it, and I have, without any effects, I know I'm falling up. All right. And sometimes when I'm singing and I'm emotional, I don't want to use auto-tune. Sometimes, we're living in an age where everything needs to be perfect, and I've worked a lot in EDM where things are so perfect, like there's no flaws, and I really think when you're feeling something, you are flawed. So at the expense of sounding like, I'm not the best singer in the world, you're hearing my soul express itself. So I really, with Ophelia, didn't want to auto-tune my voice. I wanted it to be pure raw emotion, and that cut through. But I thought as a choir, you wouldn't auto-tune every single individual in the choir, so I'm going to add a second layer to my voice, just raw, and double it. Right? And then I'll add a third. And this is all just raw, not even treated yet. So we have, here's the third. I know I'm falling. And that's an octave lower. I know I'm falling up. I love vocally doing octaves. I think it's so haunting. So you have that high upper, but then just below it, you've got multiple layers of the high and then just one solo lower octave, and that just fills in sonically the space. So I go from just my first layer, we'll put a compressor on my voice, and the compressor is just typical setting. I really, to be honest, only use my ears. I don't have any presets of what I'm doing. I see what needs to be boosted or what doesn't just by my ear. I don't really have any technical advice for that. Just what sounds good to me, because music to me is like a puzzle and you're just putting different pieces into this puzzle. And I really edit based on that. What's missing, what's too high, what's sticking out to me, and if it's all blending, then I don't really care if it's not like by the book what it should look like technically. It's just, it sounds good and that's all that matters. So I put a compressor on it, then I'm gonna put a little EQ, and my EQ is really because in this home studio, if I'm a soprano and I don't have these lower octaves, especially super low bass, I'm gonna shelve that off because just in case like outside a car drives by or some airplane drives over, you're gonna hear those lower frequencies. So just out of necessity, I just shelve the low 20-50 range, and I do that for everybody on all of them. And then I know I'm how crisp that sounds versus I know I'm falling. So I've got that. Now my favorite is the Dreamland, is my reverb. So I'm going through a Bright Hall and Valhalla Shimmer. And I've just mixed with the size and the diffusion a little bit and the high cut. I want more of those highs because I want it to sound super dreamy. If this was more of a direct lead vocal, I wouldn't have it so out there. But this one, I really want it to sound like a big cloud of voice. So I have my Valhalla Shimmer. So night and day versus just my raw, it just gives it that feeling of like eternity, like it's something bigger than myself when I put it through there, through that reverb. And then the delay, I do the same thing. I want just a tiny echo, not too much, but I just want it to keep going on, and sometimes it just naturally blends with each other, the feedback. So I'm going to treat all of my stems as such. So I am soloing my second voice. So here's the two lead high soprano voices. And then, like I talked about, that's really pretty with the strings, but there's something missing. I always hear that I want that darker undertone with the vocal. So here's with the strings. Now let's add that lower harmony, that octave. So it's really subtle, but so what surprises me is how much that can come out of just like two instruments. I just have strings and I just have my voice. But the way that I've treated them and the way that I'm expressing myself, because I could sing multiple ways, but I'm putting air into my voice. I'm putting, I believe emotionally, if you tap into something, you can feel that. So I feel there's a richness to it. There's only two things going on. But because I've treated them this way, it's just this big kind of world of sound. And so that's basically just this entire foundation of this song. Now, I want something to kind of take it somewhere else. So I'm hearing a hoo, home, home, hoo. Because right now it's just, I know I'm falling up. The sky is calling me home. And I don't want home to just die. I want it home to sound like it's going up, because I'm falling up, I'm going to heaven, or wherever you go. This energy is releasing itself, so I'm hearing home, 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 hoo, boom, boom, boom. So the sky